have the property myself, the real estate, right? So that's why I started buying more real estate and eventually replaced my income. Lead me to believe number 4. Now, this is a big one. Right now, listen very carefully. Prices are too high to invest in real estate right now. And yes, prices are high. We've had this amazing booming market around the world, particularly the last couple of years. There was this surprising boom during COVID times, okay? But the reality is, no one knows what's going to happen to property prices. Are they going to keep going up? Are they going to come down? You know, and with all this uncertainty, with here in the UK, high inflation, interest rates, political instability, and yesterday the announcement about Liz Truss, you know, maybe there might be a bit more political stability over the next few weeks. What's going to happen to prices? Would you like to know? If you want to know what's going to happen, just type in "I want to know" into the chat box. Type in "I want to know" if you want to know what's going to happen to property prices. I need enough people to type that in for me to tell you. Otherwise, I'll assume you don't want to know. So come on, in the chat box, "I want to know," type it in. If I have enough people typing that in, I'll share my thoughts with you. Okay, now they're all piling. They all want to know. Okay, great. Would you like to know what's going to happen? Here's the truth. No one knows what's going. I'm sorry, I don't know. You don't know. No one knows what's going to happen, right? Now, because we don't know, we need to reckon, and we can't control it, by the way. So stop worrying about it. But what you need to understand is, it does not matter as long as you follow my 5 golden rules of investing. So let me share those with you. I talk about these in my book, Property Magic, but the 5 golden rules are as follows. First of all, we want to buy from motivated sellers. We want to buy from people who have a problem, and we're not trying to take advantage of them. Far from it. We're trying to find an ethical win-win solution. We're going to have a real impact on them by helping them solve their problem. And if you give someone what they want, they're far more likely to give you what you want. So first of all, we're looking for those motivated sellers, okay? Now, do you think with all this uncertainty, do you think with the difficulty getting finance right now, actually there might be more motivated sellers or less motivated sellers than there were maybe a few months ago? If you think there might be more, type in more into the chat box. If you think there are less, type in less. But I can tell you with the uncertainty, when people want to get out of property, there are more and more motivated sellers. So we can find these people, solve their problem, and pick up a great deal, okay? Next, we want to buy in an area with strong rental demand. So you want to buy an area where you've got a population increasing, increased demand, and certainly here in the UK, it's massive demand. We don't have enough accommodation. There's really good, strong demand. We also want to buy for cash flow. What does that mean? A mistake people make, they think, well, prices are going up, they go up long term, I'm just going to use this as a pension fund. I don't mind if I have to subsidize it each month. Well, that's fine if you can afford to do it, but that's not very good if circumstances change. Every single asset you buy, to make it an asset instead of a liability, that asset must produce an income for you. At the end of the month, after paying the mortgage, the insurance, the maintenance, the management for someone else to look after it, only buy a property if it makes you profit every single month. Really important. The next is we're buying for the long term. Look, prices might dip in the next year or two. If it does, it's going to be an amazing buying opportunity. I'm sure you'll agree. If you're in real estate already, you've been trying to buy for the last couple of years, would you agree it's been hard to buy because it's been a seller's market? In other words, it's in the favor of the sellers. There are lots of buyers prepared to pay more money. Type in hard if you found it hard over the last few years. And anyone who's in property will agree it has been hard. The tide is starting to turn. There has never been a better time for you to step up your property if you're in it or if you're new to it, to look into it, to get educated, because there are some great opportunities now. It's going to be easier to find motivated sellers and negotiate win-win deals. However, I just want to share with you, does it mean we could buy something now, the next 12 months, and in 12 months' time, maybe the values come down? Could that happen? Yes, it could. Does that mean we've lost money? No. As long as we're holding long term and we can afford to hold it because we know there's cash flow and we know we're always going to be able to rent it out. We hold it long enough, it will come back. Now, some people say, well, why don't we wait? Why don't we wait till it hits the bottom? Well, first of all, we don't know where the bottom's going to be. And when it does hit the bottom, and everyone knows it's hit the bottom, that means all the sellers know it's hit the bottom, the media think it's hit the bottom, the general public think it's hit the bottom. What happens once it's hit the bottom? Guess what? It comes back. And if everyone thinks it's coming back, sellers are less motivated to give you good deals. So actually, it's on the way down is where you find the very best deals. Now, I don't know if the market's going to crash. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think people are going to fear that it might crash. And it's that perception that's more important. So if you get that, just type in fear into the chat box. If you realize there's a lot of fear out there right now, a lot of uncertainty, that's when you make the money. You know, Roger talks about the roaring 20s. You had the boom time, then they went into the depression, the end of the 20s. It's in times of depression, times of uncertainty, times of recession, that's when, if you have the knowledge and the confidence, that's when you make the most money. Guys, you are on this conference about this wealth investing summit. This is a monumental time in history, ladies and gentlemen. It would be a tragedy if you come along, you got excited, and then you fail to take action. Whatever resonates with you, whether it's stocks, crypto, property, look into it further. Train yourself. Take action, because this is going to be one of the best opportunities, probably not just of this decade, maybe even of this century. And the final golden rule is you need to have a cash buffer, some money put aside to cover unexpected expenses, to make sure you can quickly and easily rent your property out again, get income coming in, to make sure it is an asset. So as long as you follow the 5 golden rules, it really doesn't matter what is happening to the property market. Now, why is real estate such a stable, safe, and secure investment? Well, I've kind of said already, it doesn't go to value. Banks are prepared to lend on it. Why do you think? Well, it's because people always need somewhere to live. And generally, populations are increasing. If you buy in an area with an increasing I keep saying this is important, increasing demand, increasing population, you'll have a rise in rental income, you'll have a rise in property prices as well. Real estate will never go to zero in value. That's why banks are prepared to lend it. Can it come down in value? Yes, it can. Does it go back up again? Yes, it does. That's why banks are prepared to lend, okay? If you are making money from other investors, you're making money in your business, you're making money in your crypto, you're making money in the stock market, a smart thing to do is take some of that profit off the table and put it into long-term, stable real estate investments to have the long-term growth as well as the income. So, first mistake people make, they have all these limiting beliefs. I don't have money, don't have time, don't expense. They hold you back. Those are not reasons, they are excuses. Do not allow those excuses to hold you back. And remember, your beliefs are based on what you hold to be true, based on your knowledge and your experiences. So the next secret I want to share with you, the mistake people make is you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. We can always learn more. I've been investing in property, in real estate since 1995. I've done really well, but I've also made many, many mistakes. And I've made investments in real estate in the past, which, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't make those investments again. And at the time, they might have seemed like a great deal with the knowledge I had at the time. So I urge you, if you're already investing, you might think, I know about it because I'm already doing it. Have an open mind to recognize maybe you don't quite know everything. There might be more things. And what you've done historically, this is important. Listen, if you're already in real estate, what you've done historically over the last 10 years, because the market's changing now, it might not be what you need to do moving forward. I'm going to share with you in a moment what I believe are some truly recession-busting strategies that you should be looking at and should be using in this changing market. And look, you don't know, you never will know it. I don't know everything. You're never going to know everything, and you don't need to know everything. You need to know enough to move forward and get people around you who can help support you on your journey. My good friend Dolph DeRoos, who is the author of Real Estate Riches, when Robert Kiyosaki, you must have heard of Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you've not read that book, if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, just type in Rich Dad, Poor Dad into the chat box. If you haven't read it, you absolutely should go and read it. But when Robert Kiyosaki wanted someone to write a book about property, he got Dolph to write the book. Okay, Dolph is a great friend of mine now, lives in Phoenix. He actually wrote the foreword to my book as well. And he's got this great saying, the best real estate investment you can make is the 8 to 10 inches between your two ears. Investing in yourself and building your knowledge will upskill you to the next level. So wherever you are on your journey, have an open mind, recognize investing in yourself is an important thing. And by the way, when you invest in real estate, knowledge and training and learning, you can put that investment through your real estate business and offset it against your tax. It's fully tax deductible, which is great. And Robert Kiyosaki's got this saying, what will make you money, well, what you know will make you money, what you don't know will cost you money. I was fortunate enough to meet up with Roberts and Kim Kiyosaki, and that's an ex-partner of mine. We had some food, it was great. And in fact, Robert's not with Kim anymore, I'm not with that. So we should probably take those two people out. But if I airbrushed them in the photo, it looked really strange, us standing kind of apart like that. But still, he's got a great saying, and I asked Robert, I said, Robert, if I could share something with my students, what's one of your biggest tips? He said persistence. Too many people give up too soon, and you got to keep up skill. Just being on this, I congratulate you being here for this 2-day summit. This was a free summit, and there are lots of people who registered for this who maybe didn't make it because sometimes when things are free, people don't value them, right? I'm sure you would agree. There's been huge value on this conference already. Just type in value if you had amazing value from all the speakers and this summit. It's been incredible. So let's give a round of applause to Genius Group and to Jason and to Roger and all the speakers who bring this. It's been an amazing event. I'm sure you agree, right? The problem when things are free, and you'll be listening to that you've been given some great education, some great advice, but some people won't take action because it's free, they don't value it. So by investing in yourself, when you pay for training, you pay attention. Really important to understand that. Now, for example, did you know that you could buy real estate below market value at wholesale prices? Probably not. Well, look, even in the boom, this is Rob, one of my students. This is last year, living in London, but investing in Sheffield. So you don't have to invest where you live. You can invest out of area if that's what you want to do. He found a 7-bed licensed HMO. What's an HMO? It's a house of multiple occupation. I'll touch on it in a moment. It's a great strategy. Worth £295,000. He bought it for £160,000. That's 45% below the market value. How did he do it? There were some problems that Rob had to sort out, but with the specialist knowledge, he was able to do that. He bought it using other people's money, refinanced, taking all his money out. It's got no money left in, £100,000 of equity, cost him nothing to do that. Phil living in the Peak District, he found a property worth $225,000. He bought it for $140,000. That's a 38% below market value deal, and he's using it as short-term rentals. Another great strategy I'm going to mention in a moment. So even in a boom market, when you know how to find good deals, there are good deals out there. So what are the best investments? We are in times of recession. What you've done historically may or may not be the best things to do. So what should you be doing right now? We've got lots of questions coming in. I'm almost finished. I'm going to answer those questions in a moment, as many as we can in the time. What should you do during recession? Well, recognize the market is changing. And I think there are actually 3 criteria we should look for when investing in real estate and property in a recession time. The first criteria is this: you must be doing strategy where there are high demand. You want to make sure there are eager tenants happy to come and rent your property from you. There must be high demand. Secondly, they must generate high cash flow. Right now, here in the UK, literally the last couple of weeks, because of the budget and the complete political chaos that's happened, lenders have got nervous. They put up their interest rates and they put up their calculation to work if a deal's a good deal. Most single-let, buy-to-let properties don't work anymore. But things like HMOs, they do, because there's such a high cash flow. You must have high cash flow. That protects you against interest rates going up. It protects you against increasing energy costs and things. If you have high cash flow, these problems for other investors are not problems for you. But having said that, it's got to make money for you, but it's still got to be good value for your clients and tenants who are going to be renting property from you. So these are the 3 criteria. You want to sense check any strategy you're doing. Is there really high demand? Does it give me really good cash flow? And does it still make value for my tenants? So my tenants still going to want to come and rent from me. If you meet those 3 criteria, then that's a good strategy. So let me give you a heads up. there are two great strategies I think you should be looking at right now. One is HMOs, houses of multiple occupation, very common, popular strategy in the UK. My caveat here, if you're in the UK, if you understand, is I'm not talking about average HMOs. They've got to be very high-end, high-quality HMOs. In America, Australia, these might be called co-living. It's kind of a newer concept, but there's a huge opportunity, untapped market there. And then also the other strategy, short-term lets, often called short-term rentals, often known as SA or service accommodation, or also known as Airbnb. A strategy which gives you great cash flow. In this time of financial difficulty, instead of going on lots of overseas international holidays, which many middle-class people normally do, they might limit the international holidays to one or two, but do a lot more holiday in their home country. It's what we call a staycation. People want to go and stay short-term. They pay a lot higher rent, but they have a very small contract to do that. And so this means that there is an absolutely huge demand. You can go on, do this yourself. Go on to Airbnb in your area. Just look for accommodation. You see there's a huge amount of accommodation, a huge demand. See just how much this accommodation is going for. It's ridiculous, but people are paying it because it's still more cost effective than traveling internationally, still more cost effective than staying in a hotel. HMOs and short-term lets, they're high demand, they're high cash flow, but they're still really good value for the tenants. So I believe they are the strategies you should be looking at. So you don't know what you don't know. I'm sure you would agree with that. And then, did you learn something about real estate? If you've learned something about real estate you didn't know, just type in learn something. Just type that, or just put learn into the chat box if you've learned something in just this short amount of time you've had that you didn't already know. Okay, lots of people are saying learn. Thank you guys. That's the idea of this. I want to give you as much as you can in the time. I've almost finished. The third mistake is doing this on your own. Doing this on your own, anything, investing in crypto, in shares, in property, real estate, it can be lonely, it can be foolish, and it can be hard work. You know, it's better to do things with other people. It's more fun, and you're more likely to get better results. Your network is your net worth. This is a picture of me. It's me at the back here. This is Roger. This is us back in 2015 on Necker Island. It was a very high-level trip we went on. It was an expensive trip. It was $45,000 to do this trip. Plus, you've got to pay for your flights and things like that as well. But it was a life-changing trip. And on this trip, I met this guy here. This guy here, met him the first day. We're having a drink at the bar. He was explaining he's just sold his business for $20 million. $20 million. And that inspired me. I thought, wow, my business wasn't worth that at the time. I thought, oh, wow, I'd love to do that one day. And he inspired me. So seeing other people achieve what you want to achieve can give you the belief that it's possible. Because as the week went on, I thought, you know what? He's not that different from me, apart from him having $20 million in the bank, which I didn't have at the time. And I thought, I want to do that one day. And I set myself a goal. And that's why writing your plans about what you want to do, how you're going to, it's so important. Write things down. And I set myself a goal. I'm going to do that one day. Now, this was April 2015. And April 2022, almost 7 years to the day, Roger Hamilton buys my business, like two of my businesses actually, for just under $20 million. Now, I'm not saying that to impress you, but I'm saying to impress upon you. If you decide what you want, if you put a plan and work towards it, and obviously they're great businesses, and he's going to make a lot more money out of those over the long term, but you can achieve anything you want to achieve. But get other people around you to build your knowledge, to inspire you, and to work with you. You can speed up your success with the help of others. Look, it took me 8 years to replace my income doing it very much on my own. But this is Billy. Billy was living over in Dubai as an expat, earning a huge amount of money as a senior consultant in a consultancy business, expat salary, no tax. He wanted to come back to the UK because unfortunately he split up with his wife and his son was back in the UK and he was investing in the UK. And whilst living in Dubai on my 12-month training program, Billy was able to replace his significant income in just 12 months because he wasn't trying to do it on his own. He was doing it as part of a group. So really important to do that. So how can you work with other people? Well, look, as Roger mentioned, we have just created a wealth dynamics profile for real estate investors. It's going to be released very soon. It's a report that goes along. So if you know you're a creator, it's going to say, hey, what kind of strategy should you do? And there's an opportunity to get a debrief with one of our experienced flow consultants who understand this, who understand property, and really help you understand how can you get other people to help you. So look out for that's coming out very soon. I highly recommend you look for that. And where can you meet other like-minded people? Well, coming on events like this, going to the event Roger's doing in December in London. And this is why I started PIN, the Property Investors Network. You know, the first 8 years of my own, from 95 to 2008, I was on my own. I was very lonely. I was making mistakes, right? I wanted to get a group of like-minded people around me. And there was nothing like this anywhere in the UK. So I kind of pioneered real estate networking in the UK back in 2003. We're now 50 meetings around the country. Now with Genius Group, we're expanding it around the world. So, you know, if you'd like to get involved in that, you know, we're going to be letting people know about that, but we're going to be looking for people who are in real estate, who want to be our local representative all over the world. And, you know, lots of reasons why you might want to do that. If you want to check out the PIN meetings in the UK, go to pinmeeting.co.uk. Maybe some of the team could just share that link in the chat box, pinmeeting.co.uk. If you're in the UK, you should definitely go to some of those meetings. £20 to come along to a network meeting. There's one a month all around the country. But if you use my surname, you can actually come for your first one for free. So you go to pinmeeting.co.uk. You look at your local meeting. By the way, if you're based overseas, and you want to invest in the UK, we have something called the Global PIN Meeting. It's the first Wednesday of every month. So if you're overseas and want to invest here and learn about how to do that, go to pinmeeting.co.uk, look for the global one, and you can register for a meeting. And when it comes to the payment page, there's an option to say pay with a voucher code. If you click on that, fill in it is, and use my surname, which is Zutshi. Write this down, Zutshi. Use my surname. You can come to your very first meeting completely free of charge. So, you know, as I said, mistake number 3 is trying to do it on your own is lonely, foolish, and hard. Get people around you who can help you. So, summarizing the mistakes that people make that hold you back. First of all, is allowing your beliefs to hold you back. Secondly, you don't know what you don't know. Recognize you can always learn more. You need to educate yourself. And third thing is trying to do it on your own. It's very lonely, very foolish. Those are the 3 mistakes I wanted to share with you. And in the past, it's actually been more like 40 minutes, I think. The past 60 minutes or so, hopefully it's been time well spent so far. If you agree with that, just type time into the chat box, okay? But you know what? I can't cover everything you need to know in just 45 minutes or 60 minutes, right? So if you want to learn more, I have some extra training you can participate in. I've got so much more to share with you. I've got some free training I'd love you to participate in. It's all about short-term lets, otherwise known as short-term rentals, service accommodation. It's one of these recession-proof strategies. There's high demand for it. It can give you great cash flow, you know, and it's more cost effective for the tenants as well, right? Now, the great thing about this, you can use your existing property if you've got, you can repurpose it. You can buy new property, or you can do this even if you don't have property. You can use other people's property. And I'm going to show you on some live training we're going to do next week how you can have this business set up, generating money before Christmas. If you'd like some extra cash flow from real estate before Christmas, just type in Xmas or Christmas into the chat box. If you want extra cash flow before Christmas from real estate on property you don't even own or from your existing properties, then this is absolutely for you. So, by the way, this can be done. You don't have to do this in the UK. You can do this anywhere in the world. And also you can do it remotely. If you don't want to do it where you live, you can do it remotely as well. So I'm going to share how you can do this and how actually with just one property, you could completely replace your income. Does it take some time and effort? Yeah, you've got to put some time and effort up front. But would it be worth it if one property could replace your income? If it would, just type in worth it into the chat box. So here's what you need.